I'm live. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Let me just adjust my camera a little bit. There you go. Good morning. Good morning. I'm super excited for this free training on Start an Online Course Business in 2023 for many reasons. One is this is my first time to live stream from YouTube. So I've been live streaming on other platforms, mainly Instagram and Facebook, and I've done many webinars on other platforms, but this is my first time here on YouTube. So I just want to keep it simple because I'm still not very familiar with this platform. And so I don't have any slides. So everything is just me in person, giving you this free training. And so, thank you so much for those who are watching me here today live, and even for those who are watching me on replay. I'm very, very excited, not just for me, but for you too, because now is the best time to really start thinking of a good business to start in 2023 if this is for you. Okay, and I'm going to explain in a little bit who this is for, but I'm also very excited because this is like one of my most favorite businesses of all times. And I'm going to explain more about that as well in a little while. And so let me begin by just talking about who this free training is for. Okay, so we're not wasting any time. If this is not for you, then I don't want to waste your time. But if you know someone, even if this is not for you, if you know someone who's going to benefit from this free training, then please share it with others. All right, so who is this online course business for? Okay, first, this is for you if you are thinking of starting a business and you haven't made up your mind. Okay, and if you have the gift in teaching, coaching, mentoring, counseling, you have all those skills, then an online course business is very ideal for you. If you have a transformational story that you want to share with others and you're very passionate about it, then this one is also good for you. Now, if you already have a business like a coaching business, an online coaching business, this is also very ideal for you if you want to scale, if you want to get more customers, if you feel like it's really getting more difficult to convert your audience to paying clients for your coaching programs. This is very ideal for you. In fact, this is my turf. Okay. I'm an online coach, and this really worked for me because this is the best bridge you can have between where they are and your higher ticket program, which is your coaching program. People want to test the waters first. And so an online course is the best place where they can test the waters and where you can also establish trust with them or greater trust with them so they will be more ready for your online coaching program. And this is also ideal for you if you have other businesses, whether service based, product based business, because an online course is a great marketing tool to promote your product or your service. And it doesn't have to be complicated. And I love simplifying things. And what you learned today is a simplified version of starting an online course business. So that's for you, again, if you fit any of those categories. So, what can you expect from this free training? So, I'm trying to limit this to an hour. Maybe we can extend a little bit, depending on your comments, what you want to know that I haven't covered. But of course, in an hour or more than an hour, so maximum is 1.5 hours. That's uh, my time frame for this free training. So of course you can't expect to learn everything about an online course business in a 1 hour to 1.5 hour free training, right? So I'll make it very clear that this is about starting an online course business. This is not going to teach you the details of how to create an online course because I want to focus on the business aspect, but I'll definitely cover the main components of an online course or how to go about creating your online course, the main components. But most importantly, I'm going to talk about the foundation, the principles of business so that you will be successful when you finally start your online course business. Because really, the creation of the online course is the easier part. I want you to have a business. I don't want you to just have an online course. I want you to have a business that can sustain you, that will be profitable. And this is why I'm giving you this free training. I wanted to start an online course business in 2023 and be successful at it. Okay, so I just want to make that clear. And then for comments, because I don't want to get distracted when I'm teaching, and so that I can really stick to the time that I've set aside for the training, I definitely want to keep all the comments at the last part of the video. So you can type in your comments or you can write it down so you don't forget it, but you can type it in. But I'm going to respond to you at the end of this video. And if you're watching on replay, just, feel free to drop your comments and then I'm going to respond to whatever questions you may have for as long as they are related to this free training. All right. So that's for my expectations. And for you to make the most of this free training, I suggest that you focus. Okay. Keep your focus. I want to have your undivided attention. This is not for me, this is for you. So you can really make the most out of it. Of course, if you're busy, you can just watch again and replay. But again, if you really want to make the most out of this, I expect your full attention. That's just how it works in everything. When you're trying to multitask, when you're trying to learn something and multitask, it doesn't work. Okay. So, anyways, for all my training, whether it's free training, whether it's paid training, I always start with a premise. Why am I even doing this? What is the very essence of my teaching? What is the very essence of my course? What is the very essence of my free training? So I'm going to share with you the premise of an online course business and business in particular, because I want to shift your mind from just thinking that an online course is a side hustle or it's a gig or it's a side income. I want to shift your focus and focus on the business. Okay. So we're going to build a business. We're not going to build an online course. We're going to build an online course business. We're going to build a business that just happens to be an online course. And in the future, if you're just an aspiring entrepreneur, you don't have a business yet, in the future, this can expand to other businesses. Okay. But let's just start on the premise that this is about a business. And when it comes to business success, okay, I've been an entrepreneur for over 20 years. And I'm going to share more about my personal journey with you in a little bit. But in this journey, I realized, okay, I've come to the realization that business success is about fulfilling your purpose in everything, actually. Success in general, whether it's life, whether it's relationship, whether it's a career, whether it's a business. But since we're talking about business, then I'm just going to talk about business all the time throughout this training. So, business success is not possible without the fulfillment of your purpose, meaning that your business simply becomes an avenue to fulfill that purpose. So, this is the very essence of a successful business, and in this case, an online course business. Without using this avenue to fulfill your purpose, you're not going to be fulfilled. So, fulfillment comes from that. That is what true success is about. This is why we have financially successful people who are empty, and many people who want to start businesses do it for, because they want to have a greater work-life balance, and especially after the pandemic. Let me tell you something. That pandemic really shook a lot of people. I'm just very grateful to God that I already transitioned to a more online-based coaching business prior to the pandemic. But the pandemic really was an eye-opener for many entrepreneurs, and they're realizing more than ever now that it's inevitable. This online presence is inevitable. It is what it is. You can't do business without an online presence. And one great thing too that people realized across the board is that the importance of having a greater work-life balance. And this is why there are many people who shifted from a 9 to 5 job to being entrepreneurs during the pandemic and didn't want to go back to work anymore. Because once you experience, it's like that's a silver lining with that pandemic. It made us realize the more important things in life, and the more important things in life should really be our priority. And so people are wanting to start a business because one of the main reasons now is because they are looking for that greater work life balance. They're looking for a more peaceful life. But then again, without fulfilling your purpose, it is really impossible to find that. You can find it like temporarily, but we want something that's more permanent. We want you to be fulfilled. And this is why it's important for that purpose to be fulfilled. Now, that purpose. So people ask me, how do I even know what my purpose is? How do I even discover it? Okay. So fulfilling your purpose starts by understanding what the purpose is. And your purpose is connected to everything about you that makes you different, that makes you unique. So the clues to your purpose lies in your uniqueness, who God created you to be, everything about you, your skills, your experience, both the good and the bad, your what you know, your preferences, your culture, your race, your skin color, your hairstyle, everything about you, every single detail are clues to your purpose, and your purpose is what you're meant to fulfill in your lifetime. And when you're not fulfilling that, you're going to be empty wherever you go. Financial prosperity is not going to make you feel fulfilled. Having a marriage is not going to have you going to get you fulfilled or make you feel fulfilled. It's only the fulfillment of that purpose. Now, how do you find that? How do you connect everything unique about you and even begin to see your purpose? Now, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, and I'm going to share a story with you in a little while. In this journey, I've discovered that without God, without your creator, you will not find that purpose. Okay? You can try, but you will fail. Romans 8:28 says that all things work together for good. All things work together for good to those who love God and are called according to his purpose. Now, that's a very loaded Bible verse. All things work together for good to those who love God and are called according to his purpose. All things are only going to start working together for good, which means you'll be able to connect the pieces of the puzzle. So, your life, your story, everything about you are like pieces of a jigsaw puzzle. And when you love God, which means that you open your heart for Him, okay? When you love God, you open your heart for Him. That's the beginning of you understanding how every bit and piece of your life form together to make you who you are for the fulfillment of your purpose. Every experience, even the bad ones, start making sense when you surrender your life to God by surrendering your life to Jesus. Because God shared his love to you. And up to this very day, he's knocking at our hearts, asking if we can open our hearts for him. And we open our hearts for him when we receive his son, Jesus, because that's the love of God for us. Now, this is not religion. I'm not preaching to you talking about religion. This is a relationship that when we open our hearts to God, then we start seeing clearly, then all these missing pieces of our lives all of a sudden become clearer, and then we see a bigger picture of our purpose. That's the beginning. And when we start moving towards our purpose, everything else we do, even building the business, becomes an avenue. It's like a container where you can start fulfilling your purpose. And the purpose is to serve other people. Now, let me share with you my story on why I even came to this point. Okay. I became an entrepreneur in 1999. That was a very, very long time ago. That was probably a year or two after my separation from my ex husband. I had full custody of my two sons. My eldest was 10 years old then, my youngest was a year old. And I was already working as a trainer, consultant, coach. So back then we were not called coaches, we were called trainers and consultants. So I was already working as a trainer consultant, and my income was not going to be enough for me to provide for my two kids. And that's when I realized that I needed to start a business. So I didn't start a business that I didn't know. In fact, I started the business that was the same as the job I was doing, which made it easier for me. And this is why I don't advise people to start a business they're not familiar with. We're going to get there in a little while when I start explaining the online course business. But I started a training consulting company, and most of the clients I had in that at that job I was able to carry over with me to my business, which made it easier. Okay. And I was in the Philippines back then. I was born and raised in the Philippines, and that all happened in the Philippines. And my clients back then were top Fortune 500 companies coming from the United States of America, where I am now, and coming from Europe, Australia, and other countries. I was designing and conducting tailor fit training programs for these huge corporations like Kraft and Kimberly Clark and Aetna and Dole Asia. And, those were my roster of clients back then. I was designing and conducting training programs for them. And I also became the bridge between their culture, or the culture of the corporate office, and the Filipino culture. And so that was what I was doing. It was like high profile training, coaching, consulting. And I was very, very driven, and I became successful at it. But guess what? I was so empty. People thought I was all well put together. I was really looking good on the outside. I was so strong on the outside, but I had so many issues. I was still hurting from my failed marriage. I was just riddled with all these issues inside of me that was getting in the way of true success. And this is why later on I realized that money is not the measure of success. Even if you have all the money in the world, if you're empty, then you're not successful because it affects everything else that you do. But, anyways, going back to the story, I just felt so empty despite the success. And so one day I just walked to the bookstore. I was just so down and out, and I was really depressed. I went straight to the self-help section of the book. Mind you, back then there was no internet yet. You couldn't Google anything. You have to find a book to read. So I went straight to the self-help section of the bookstore and just saw this book. It was Do Less, Achieve More. And I found it interesting, and so I went home, and I didn't even get it from a religious section of the bookstore. It was self-help. And I flipped open the book when my kids were already asleep, and because I was just desperate for answers. And it landed on a page, and the chapter was surrendering to the divine will. And I was raised Catholic. I went to Catholic schools. I knew about God, I knew about Jesus, but I didn't know God. I didn't know Jesus. And I remember crying out to God that day and saying, Lord, teach me how to surrender. I don't know how to surrender. That's all I remember. And I also remember the peace that came to me that day. Now, little did I know that God was already orchestrating everything. This is what I'm saying about all things working together for good. And not long after that, I met a pastor. And this is not a church scene. I wasn't invited to any religious, spiritual activity. I met this pastor through a business meeting. Okay. I didn't even know that that meeting would have a pastor. I met this pastor in a business meeting, and he shared with me his story, just his story. It wasn't even sharing the gospel with me, he just shared the story, his personal story with me. And I surrendered my life to Jesus that day. And it was never the same again. And so I started reading my Bible. And then I started realizing that everything I was teaching in my training programs was just all superficial. I was teaching. I was conducting training programs, design training programs for upper management, middle management, rank and file employees, on leadership, supervision, management, stress management, time management, talk about all that, self-realization. And I realized, how can I even talk about stress management if I don't have peace? And how can you have peace without God? So that's when I started questioning the very things that I was doing. And I was like, you know what? This is not really fulfilling me anymore. And so I closed my business and started a nonprofit organization. Again, this was years ago. Started a nonprofit organization, still doing almost the same thing, but this time around, I was approaching companies from the point of view of a nonprofit organization because I wanted to share with them the real message of the gospel. So what I did was presented those training programs to them for free, but for as long as they will allow me to talk about biblical principles, and then they just give donation to the ministry. So that's what I did for a while. And the Lord also sent me to the women's prison and also to poor families and communities. So that was my life back then. And I was very, very fulfilled. And then, of course, God had other plans, and I met my Prince Charming, who happens to be from Washington State. And then we got married in 2009. I moved here to the US. And so when I moved here, I was thinking of what to do, and I started a more toned down home based business. So that's the beginning of my professional writing business. And I started focusing on something I can do, easily, and a more in demand service. And that was resume writing. So I again, started getting known as a resume writer, and the resume writing evolved into career coaching. And then I was also doing business plan writing, which eventually evolved into business consulting. And so that was me going back again to the coaching field that I love so much. Okay, so that's the evolution of my being an entrepreneur, being a coach. And then I realized that I couldn't handle all my one-on-one coaching clients. And because of the transition to the online space, it was not as easy selling the online coaching programs. And that's when I discovered the beauty of an online course business. But because I've already reached this point in my life where I know my purpose, that online course business became an avenue for me to fulfill my purpose. And I'm fulfilling my purpose just by giving this free training for you. So I just wanted to make that clear, just establish the premise first before I begin teaching you. All right. So I hope I made that very, very clear to you, because again, without the fulfillment of your purpose, you're not going to succeed in business and not in anything. And that purpose only comes by opening our hearts to God through his son Jesus, receiving him in our lives. And that will be the beginning of us connecting the pieces of our lives together and seeing a bigger picture of our purpose. Then we can start moving forward. For aspiring entrepreneurs, for business people, start moving forward using your business as an avenue to fulfill your purpose. And so, again, all my courses, okay, I have three main courses, main online courses, main courses. I have three main online courses now. I have kind of like two resume writing course, but that's really just for marketing purposes. But I have three main online courses now for business, and all of those courses are founded on um, the same premise. Okay, that without God, we're not going to achieve any success. We're not going to be peaceful. We're not going to be happy. All right. So let's go back to the online course. Why online course? Okay, why is an online course very ideal for you if you fit those categories that I previously mentioned? Well, first of all, you can start building an online course business even if you're still working your full-time job, because it's very easy to start and maintain. Okay, don't get overwhelmed with other people teaching you how to start an online course business, because some of the people who teach have been doing it for so long, and some who also teach are more tech savvy. And so when you look at it, it's just like overwhelming. I don't want to overwhelm you. I want to keep things simple for you. Besides, I'm a Gen Xer, so I'm not as tech savvy as the younger generation. And if it worked for me, then it can work for anyone. All right. And so, other than being able to do this while working a full-time job, it's easy to manage, and then it's very cost efficient. I mean, seriously, I I can't think of any other business that has the lowest startup capital that you will ever need, because you don't really need a paid platform when you're starting. You can use a free platform. I used Thinkific for free. Okay, you can use your phone as your camera, and you just need a computer really, because it's really going to be kind of challenging if you use your phone to upload your training materials and everything, but it can still be done. And then if you're not really very tech savvy, or you're not tech savvy at all, hello, you have family members probably who can help you. It's easy. It's an easy business to start, easy business to maintain. It's an avenue where you can fulfill your purpose. You can express yourself through your online course, and you can monetize it at the same time. In fact, I've been telling, because I used to do this. I used to offer free training and coaching for ministry. All right. And I was not monetizing anything. But you know what? People who invest in something are more likely to succeed. So I was helping women back then for free. And most of the women I've helped got stuck because they didn't invest anything in it. And so if you're doing this for free, you might as well monetize it. And I promise you that you'll even get better results for people you are teaching. Okay. And then it really has a possibility of it becoming a passive income in the future. The hard work is in building it, but eventually it can run on its own. It's something that you can use to pass on your knowledge, your skills, and your story. My goodness, that story is part of your purpose. Imagine instead of writing a book, you put your story in an online course and it will live on. Any business connected to education and learning will remain relevant because it's not going to go away. People are going to constantly learn. And when you have an online course business, you can easily, uh, what do you call this, update it. Or if you can always create new ones once you've learned how to do it. And then e-learning is like one of the biggest booming, fastest growing businesses, and it's not going anywhere. And then it's a great marketing tool. I said that earlier for coaches. For other businesses, this is a great marketing tool. Seriously. If you have a beauty product business or a health product business, you do an online course teaching people, if you have a beauty product business, teaching people how to apply makeup using your product. That's a marketing tool in itself. Okay. For coaches, this is the best bridge for you. If you can't sell your higher ticket coaching program, start an online course business. And when people see how effective it is, when people see how good you are, then they will be the ones asking you to sign them up for your coaching program. Believe me, that's what happened to me. All right, so let's now start with the details of this training. Okay, again, this is about starting an online course business. This is not about how to create an online course. This is about starting an online course business. So we have to build your online course business the way you should build a business. So let's start with the foundation. Okay. So it all starts with your mindset. This is not a side gig. This is not a side hustle. This is not, I'm an online course creator. No, I'm an entrepreneur and my business is an online course business. That's where it starts. Because when you start thinking like an entrepreneur, when you start thinking like a business owner, then you're going to shift the way you think about an online course. So we're starting and building an online course business. And the foundation of any business is the vision, mission, and values. Okay, again, vision, mission, values, these form the foundation of your business. So when we talk about the vision, this is what you want to see. Okay, what you want to see in terms of the results for your customers, what you want to see in terms of who you want to become, what you want to be recognized for. And the mission is how you will accomplish that vision. Okay, so for simplicity's sake, I've combined my vision mission for my online course business because I have a coaching business. I also have a writing business, but then this online course became a business in itself as well. I'm not telling you to create many businesses. If you're a starting entrepreneur, start with this online course business, and then later on it can expand. If you already have a business, then consider the online course as a portion of that business. So, just for an online course business, I can combine my vision mission into to help aspiring and current entrepreneurs. So, this is my target audience. Aspiring and current entrepreneurs build a successful online course business. As easy as that. Okay. So, what I want to see is there, I want to help you build a successful online course business. And who am I helping? How am I going to do that? By teaching you how to start an online course business, right? How to build an online course business. So, it doesn't have to be complicated. You just have to be very clear on what your vision and mission is, or vision mission statement, which you can also combine. Now, when it comes to values, this is something that you don't really need to tell other people, but this is something that will guide you. What are the values that you uphold? Okay, integrity, for me, it's excellence. For me, integrity. So to make sure to always keep me accountable that everything I do fits in that category. And there are no compromises for me when it comes to my values. And my values, as you probably already know, are biblical principles. So that is the very first step when you are building a business. You build a foundation first. It's like building a house, really. Build a foundation first. And then the next is to build the framework. Okay. So now you have the foundation, we build the framework or the structure. So there are two elements of the framework. The first element is you, the second element is your audience. So let me break that down. When it comes to you being the component of this framework, it means to it the you refers to your own uniqueness. I kind of talked about this earlier in relation to your purpose. But in creating your online course business, so this is not just for the business in itself, but for your online course as well. You have to take into consideration your own uniqueness. So ask yourself, what am I really passionate about? Okay, think about your passion. Okay, you can write this down so you can refer back to it later on. What is really your passion? When it comes to passion, these are the things that come naturally for you. Okay, it may not come naturally for others, but it comes naturally for you. And so this passion is also your driving force, what motivates you, what makes you cry, what makes you angry, angry in the right way. Okay, not angry because somebody hurt you, but if you see poverty and you get angry, okay, that's definitely connected to something you're passionate about. So you can create a list of what comes naturally for you. Like for me, what comes naturally for me is really coaching. Every time somebody comes to me sharing a story, I find myself, even my husband always tells me, well, I'm not telling you this because I need some advice. I'm telling you this because I need somebody to talk to. And I always tell him, well, I can't help it. This is really me. So the things that you can't really help, it comes out naturally. That's what you're passionate about. And then, of course, your driving force, what drives you, what motivates you. This is also part of what you're passionate about. So just create an inventory of that, because I'm not expecting you to really identify it right away, but maybe you already do know. Then that's good. And then the other thing is, what are your skills? So there are two types of skills. One is the natural skills, and the other one is the acquired skills. So we have natural skills, natural abilities, and teaching for me is a natural skill. Leadership for me is a natural skill. As far as back as I can remember, I've been leading other people, leading my friends, and so that's a natural skill. Natural skills are skills that, if you trace back to your childhood, you find yourself doing the same thing. Okay. And acquired skills, of course, are skills you've acquired in school, you've acquired at work. So again, create an inventory of that. And then another thing about you or your own uniqueness are your experiences. So both the good and the bad, as I've said, form part of who you are, form part of your uniqueness. So highlights, I'm not saying your entire experience, highlights of your experience, both the personal and the work. Like I shared with you highlights of my entrepreneurial experience, right? So that's how you do it. The highlights of your personal experience. Probably you got divorced, you got remarried, and you're happy now, you have kids, that's personal. And then your work experience also, the chronological history probably of your work or what you've done in the past. So again, this is just for you to have a list and an inventory that you can refer back to when you're already creating your online course. So all that, everything about you should be present in your online course. So you don't create an online course because somebody else created that kind of course and she became rich of it. No, you don't create an online course because you see that it's an in-demand course. You create an online course that is you, because that's how you succeed in business. That's how you succeed in your online course business. Create something that is truly you. So it can also be a vehicle and an avenue to fulfill your purpose. All right. So that's the you component. Let's go to the audience component. So your audience, of course, these are the people who you will serve or you're called to serve. Remember, fulfilling our purpose is about serving others. Your customers are not just the ones buying into your online course. Your customers are the ones you are serving. They are your people. So who are these people? When you don't consider who your audience is and you're designing your online course, there's a big chance to fail. So you consider them at the beginning of your online course creation. So who are your people? Your people are the ones drawn to you. So there are people we naturally attract, people who are attracted to us. So think about people who are naturally attracted to you. Their character traits. I'm not talking about the names of the people, but just look at the people who are naturally attracted to you. What are their character traits? Create a profile of these people. Okay, again, create an inventory. And then people who you also get along with, these are your people. Because they are just people who rub you in the wrong way, right? Like they are just people like just the first meeting is bad. And no matter what you do, it just is not working. So they are not your people. When it comes to your people, they also need to be the people that you get along with. Number three, the people who are interested in your course. Okay. I'll be explaining this in a little bit. Okay. Which is the mistake I made. Because when you're talking social media, the algorithm is going to look at the people who follow you and promote whatever you're putting online to these people. So if you have not defined that, it's going to screw up your promotion later on. I'm going to explain more about that in the next steps. Okay. But for now, think about the people who are going to be interested in your course. Okay. Where are they? What are their jobs? So just create an inventory for now because we're not defining yet your online course. This is just to define your audience. So after you've defined you and your uniqueness, and you'll be able to figure out later on what type of online course would work for you. I'll give you an example. Then you look at your audience. Okay, these are the people who are more likely going to be interested in what my offer is. Then just set it aside. Okay, just set it aside. But I just wanted to make an inventory for now. So I'll give you an example. Let's combine you and your audience and create an example. So let's just say that your passion is a successful marriage. Okay, because you've experienced divorce, and so you really want to have a successful marriage, and so you're passionate about it, and you've already remarried and things are working well for you, but you you intentionally are making it work out. Okay, because you don't want to get divorced again. So let's just use that as an example. And so your passion is a successful marriage, your experience is divorce. Okay, so let's just say that you want to talk about second marriage success. Okay, so you kind of have an idea that this is where you want to go for your online course, second marriage success. Okay, so let's look at your audience. Let's look at the profiling of your audience, knowing that this is the kind of online course that you may end up doing. Okay. So, what do you want to help others with? Okay. So, since this is what you want to do, successful second marriage, what do you want to help people with? Okay. So, I really want them to have a successful second marriage. Okay. So, that's kind of pinpointed. And then ask yourself, what do people normally ask me about this? So this is why it's important that your online course is about you and your uniqueness, because that is what normally people ask you for, like friends asking you for advice, or co-workers asking you for advice, or family members asking you for advice. That's normally where you're going to thrive because you're already super familiar with it. So let's just say that this is really where you thrive. This is really your passion, successful second marriage. So people, your friends always ask you, hey, how do I start dating? How do I know when to start dating again? Or what did you do to make your marriage successful? Or how did you recover from the hurt? So you can make a list of that. So this is just an example. So whatever you think about, create a list also of the things that people always ask you for in relation to what your idea is of what you may want to do as an online course. Okay. And then you also start creating a more targeted niche. So who really is your niche? So you created already an inventory of your audience, the people drawn to you. But as you narrow it down to what you really want to talk about, it will also niche down your audience. So when it comes to niching down, you can probably, again, using that as an example of the second marriage success, it can be niched down to divorced and seeking for love. It can be niched down to, so any of these, okay, divorce and seeking for love, or maybe first 5 years of a second marriage. So those who fall in that category, or maybe those who are looking for, like answers to how to start dating, or dating after divorce from first spouse. So now you're creating ideas that further niches down your topic eventually and your audience. So this is how you do it. You start from something big, and then you start making it smaller and smaller. You don't start with the details. You start no, you don't start by thinking of specifically what online course you'll do. You start from you, your audience, and then it will start narrowing down until you finally are decided that this is really what you want to do. Okay, so we're just talking about the framework, by the way. And as I've said, we're not going to be able to cover how to create an online course. We're talking about how to start an online course business. Okay, so this is how you build it. Okay, so after you build the foundation for the business itself, then you create the framework for your online course. Now you are going to be ready to build your online course. So let's talk about the online course, and I'll give you the main steps. And I can't give you all the details, but I'll try my best to make this very, very clear, so that when you're finally done watching me on this free training, at least you'll have something to start with. Okay. Now, the first step in building your online course, again, always have in mind that this is a business, not a side gig. So, the first step is to choose the type of online course. And for starters, I will recommend self help. Okay, you can also do something more skills based, but if you don't really have the skills in teaching specifically step 1 to step 10, then this is not going to be easy. I always want to start with something that's more personal. Okay, and this is why I recommend self-help. It's like my favorite online course, or type of online course, and it's also the most in demand. Okay, self-help online courses are the most in demand because people are always looking for answers to their problems, and people want answers now. So they Google, how do I overcome depression? Where do I find the perfect man for me? Where do I? So people are always looking for that. So it's easier for you to be able to sell your online course if you're doing a self-help online course. So let's just choose self-help for now. Although I'm not telling you to limit it to that, but this is like my most favorite, and this is like the most saleable. So let's focus on self-help then. So you choose a type of course, and that's self-help. Then you choose the name of your course. So this is after you do all the inventory. Okay, you don't choose the name of an online course without doing that first. So after you build a framework, then you choose your type of course, self-help, and then choose a name. In choosing the name of your course, think of something that will be easily remembered by people. So it has to be an easy recall. Okay, like people will remember it right away, because not everybody who sees you when you're finally promoting will be interested in the beginning. And so if it's not an easy recall, they'll be like, oh, I think I saw that lady promoting her online course, but what is the name of the course again? Oh my gosh, I forgot. So you want something that's easy recall, and you want it short. You want it short so it's also easily recalled. And then it has to also be associated with what the course is about. So stop thinking of fancy names that's not connected to your course. It has to be something that when they hear the name, when they see the name, they immediately know what it is. Don't let them question in their minds what it's about. They immediately know what it is. Okay, and this is where I made a mistake in the past. And so the name of my course for my online course creation course is Course Creator Roadmap. It's easy recall. It's something that's associated with what I'm teaching. It's teaching people how to create an online course. And so it's Course Creator Roadmap. It's very easy and it's short. So that's the same thing that you should do for your online course name. Make it short, easy to remember, and associated with what the course is about. So again, going back to the example I used earlier, it can be successful second marriage. Okay. And you can say how to have a successful second marriage, but that's kind of long. So you just say successful second marriage. Okay, or whatever you can come up with that's more creative, but again, short, easy recall, and easy to associate with your course. Once you've chosen a name, the next step is for you to create your outline. Okay. For starters, limit your course to 6 hours to 4 weeks. Do not go beyond 4 weeks if you're just starting. In fact, the shorter it is, the easier it will be for you to finish, the faster it will be for you to finally offer it to other people, and the easier it will be for you to create it, to produce it, to publish it, and to maintain it. Okay, so yes, you can create an online course as short as 6 hours, and you can also create it as long as 4 weeks, and you just divide it into segments. Okay. Now, when you talk about an online course, it's kind of like a book. Okay. Creating an online course is like creating a book, it's like writing a book. It's just that the production is more different. And so you start with an outline and you have your main topics and you have your subtopics. Okay. So it's like chapter one, and then you have the subtopics. Again, it's just like a book. But when you create an outline, you start again with an inventory. You don't create an outline with chapter one, chapter two, chapter three, because it's not going to happen. So what you do again is you dump all your ideas. Okay. So let's just go back again to my example earlier, successful second marriage. Okay. So what are possible topics that you can include there? So this is again based on what inventory you've previously done, like what people normally ask you about, what you really want to teach them. So this is all like combination of everything and you put it all together. So this may include, so topics may include overcoming fears, when do you know when you're ready to date, where to find the right person, how to have successful dates, successful dating, maintaining the marriage, overcoming hurts, and so on and so forth. Okay, so you write everything down. Again, this is why if you keep it short and simple, it's easier. So once you've created an inventory, that's the time that you start sorting it out. Okay, I think this overcoming fears and overcoming hurts can be grouped together. So now you can create that into a chapter or what I call a module. So the chapters in an online course, I call it modules, and the sub chapters or the subtopics I call lessons. So you can create a module on overcoming inner issues, and then under that, overcoming fear, overcoming anger, everything that's connected to whatever issues people are still going through after a divorce. Okay, so that's when you start grouping them together. But before you can even start grouping them together, just create a list. Just create a list, just keep adding to the list. And then later on, you'll be able to weed it out what does not belong, what's not needed, what's redundant. But that's how you create the outline for your online course. So this is how you organize things. Okay, so once you have an outline, then it's going to be easier for you to create your content. Okay, so creating your content includes writing it first. Okay, so this is the thing that I'm saying. It's really like writing a book. So once you have an outline, it's easier to start writing. Okay, remember too that an online course should have an introduction and a conclusion. Again, like a book, you have the introduction and you have the last part of the book. So the introduction is always you explaining, giving your students an overview of what it is about, giving your audience like setting your expectations, And an introduction can also be your story, just like what I did at the beginning of this training. And an introduction can also, like, yeah, give instructions to them. And then you present the body of your online course separated into modules and lessons. Now, if it's just a 6 hour course, you can just really have 3 modules. Okay. 3 modules with one lesson each. You probably don't even need really modules, you just need lessons to keep it that simple. And so once you have an outline, you now create your content. So let's just say overcoming fears. Okay, so you that example I gave you about overcoming inner issues, and under that, so that's a module, overcoming inner issues in marriage, and then under that is the overcoming insecurities, and the other one is overcoming fears. So you now put under each one. Okay, under overcoming fears, what do you want to talk about? Okay, so it can still be in an outline form when you're starting, but you just write it down. What do I want to talk about? What do they need to know? So just write everything down when you're doing your content. And then when you're finally happy with what you wrote, again, this is not a final thing. When you're finally happy with it, then you can now start thinking, okay, how do I want to deliver this? How do I want to present this? Okay, of course, an online course is definitely videos, okay, video or audio. And because I'm here on this YouTube platform for the first time, I don't have my slides, but normally in my webinars, I do have my slides. Um, but it's always good to have slides. You can't have an online course without slides. And it's easy to create slides. You have Canva to create slides, you have PowerPoint to create slides. And if you really have difficulty using those platforms, you can always ask other people's help. If you have family members who can help you do it for free, maybe you can pay your younger kids, then that's a side income for them, or you can hire a VA. And I can help you if you need a VA. You know, you can really hire a VA for like $7 an hour. Okay, so when you're starting to when you have already identified, okay, this is what I want to do with this, I'm going to do a video. So when you're doing videos for your online course, you can either do it something like this. Okay, but the nice thing about this is it's more personal, but it gets boring. So when you're face to face all the time throughout your online course, it gets boring. Imagine 6 hours of just people seeing you. So this is why you need those presentation slides, right? Besides, if you use the presentation slides, then you don't have to face them. Then you can record your voice without you fixing yourself, right? Because you want to look good on the camera, you want to have a good light for a camera. So and if you don't have that and you don't want to keep doing that, then you can just record your voice and put your slide presentation over your voice. Okay, so you start deciding, okay, this one, I think I should be, they should really see me. So your face is important when you're introducing a concept, or specifically at the start of your online course and at the end of your online course. But for the most part, slides will do. Of course, you just cannot use audio though, because this is why you have an online course, they're watching you. Okay, and then of course you need your downloadable materials that they can download after watching lesson one, for instance. Then they have worksheets, they can download it. And again, it's super easy. It's super easy to do it. The free platform that you can use, I use Thinkific. I always recommend Thinkific. It's very easy. You just upload your materials, and then when your students sign up, they can download it. And creating your materials is also easy. You don't have to make it so fancy, but if you want to make it nicer, again, you can ask other people to help you or hire the services of a VA. It's very cost efficient. Okay, so that's for the production. And of course, when you record a video, you also need to edit it. Okay, and again, there are editing platforms that are not very difficult to manage and to use. And even with your phone, it's already easy to edit your video. And so, and this is why I don't recommend just you talking all the time, because it's going to be harder to edit it. And besides, if you want to update your online courses in the future, it's harder if you have your face to face. It's easier when you just have a slide presentation. It's easy to change it, easy to change your audio. Okay, so again, for the production, you need video, audio, downloadable materials, and of course, your editing software, which can really be just your phone. And I use Filmora. It's a more it's still very user friendly for me. You know, as I've said, I'm not young, but if I can use it, then you can use it too. So after you now create your content, so the production part is really what takes the most. Okay. And if you keep it simple, it's going to be easier. Then after that, after you've created that, then you set up your course platform. Now you can set up your course platform while creating your online course because you just upload the video and the materials one at a time. So you don't have to finish all your online course before you set up your course platform. You just publish it once it's all done. And so again, I recommend you starting, if you're just a starting entrepreneur, I recommend starting it for free. You don't need to pay for anything if you don't have students yet. So don't pay for anything. You only pay for something when you start earning money through your online course. So think of it, you can actually do 3 online courses for free. But I don't recommend you doing 3. Please just focus on one online course first, make that succeed before you go to the next one. All right. Okay, so that's the easier part though. And this is the next part that I'm going to share with you and teach you is something that I didn't know when I started. Okay. And I want to I want to help you make the same mistake. And so you can succeed faster and that's building your systems. You know, I didn't build my systems. I created my online course and I didn't know any better. So when we talk about systems, again, when we talk about systems, I don't want to make it complicated because Gen Xers like me, when we hear about systems, we're like, oh my gosh, systems, especially because of the world we live in now, right? But I just want to simplify systems, and I'll explain to you a very simple concept of a system and a strategy. Imagine having a pile of clothes on your bed and you need to get ready for work and you can't even find your underwear, your socks because everything is piled up on the bed. So those are strategies without a system. Strategies are your plans. Okay, oh, I'm going to do my social media post today. You know, that's a strategy. The systems are I want to use the analogy of a drawer. When you have drawers where you can put all your clothes in, like this first drawer is for underwear, the second drawer is for socks, this third drawer is for shirts, then it's easier to find them when you need them. So that is the meaning, simple meaning of systems and strategies. You can have all the strategies that you want, but if you don't have the right systems in place, those strategies are going to be all over the place. And if you want to be successful in business, you want to be organized. And this is one big problem of many people who come to me. They're just all over the place. So I want you to be able to organize everything as you're starting because it's harder to sort them out. Then that's what happened to me. It's harder to sort them out when you don't have the systems in the beginning or when you're building your online course. So now that I've gotten that out of the way, you know, not to overwhelm you with the systems, I want to talk about um, the journey that a customer goes through and my very, very simple systems that I use. Okay. So you have to understand the journey that your audience is going to go through when you're finally promoting your online course. Creating the online course is just one aspect. Promoting it actually plays a more major role. And this is why I've incorporated your audience at the beginning of setting up your frameworks because you need to be mindful of them this whole time. So an audience enters into the first phase of the journey and exits on the last phase of the journey. And I call that journey AIDA, AIDA. The beginning part is the awareness phase. So this is when an audience starts seeing you, okay, and becoming more aware of you. So if you have a very catchy, easy recall title for your online course, and let's just say that you're promoting it on Instagram, okay, and you mentioned like let's say I just said course creator roadmap, and there's one person who saw my Instagram reels, which is part of strategy, and then he's like, oh, course creator roadmap. So that already established a recall in the mind of my audience. So that's the first level is awareness. So everything becomes intentional when you know the journey that your customer goes through. First phase is awareness, then the next phase is the letter I, which is interest. So this is when your audience starts paying more attention to you, because you got the person's not only the person did not only become aware of you, but you were able to convert that audience to the interest phase. Now this person is going to start looking for your posts, start getting interested in you, probably checking out your social media, checking out your video, and checking out whatever it is that you offer. And then the third phase is the decision phase. When the audience makes a decision, this is not talking about signing up for your online course yet, but making a decision to finally sign up for whatever free stuff you're offering, just like this free training. And that's the lead magnet, when you're offering something in exchange for their email address. Okay, so that's when you bring them to the decision phase. They finally made the decision to invest their time on you. So if you have a webinar, a live launch, that when that person finally signs up to that, that means that that person made the decision to invest the time into you. And then in that platform, in the webinar platform, you now do your sales pitch. You now start talking about your online course, and that person now moves from the decision phase to the action phase, which means that audience becomes your paying client. And that can even go to a higher level if you're an online coach, because after the person exits the online course, the person now has the possibility to sign up to your higher ticket coaching program. So this is the journey that a customer goes through. And this is why when you are aware of this while creating your online course, by the time your online course is ready, your audience is also ready. So you're doing all these things while you're building your online course, which will guarantee the success of your online course business. Now let's go to the systems, okay, to make it more understandable. So I use a very simple ATS system: attention, trust, sales. So these systems are created in accordance to the journey that the customer goes through. Very, very simple system. For attention, okay, this is choosing the right platform and choosing the right channel. Okay, my suggestion for you, if you're just starting, is to just choose one platform. So let's just say YouTube. Let's just say that you're just using YouTube. Okay, because I'm here on YouTube now. Let's just say that you use YouTube. This is where you're going to build awareness for your audience. So you now have a target audience in mind, and this is where you're going to do your videos and your shorts, okay, to attract their attention. Okay, so this is where you bring them from the awareness to the interest phase. That this is where you're going to do all your like promotion for your free stuff, just like what I'm doing now. And this is where you build your audience. So you're building them even before you're done with your online course. So you're just talking about like something simple and something this and that. And I promise you, by the time your online course is ready, they're going to be super excited for it. And how I wish I knew this when I was doing my online course, but I kind of worked in the reverse. But that's all for your benefit, because now you're getting the secret that I didn't get when I started. Okay, so that's for the attention. Now the trust, again, let's use YouTube. Building trust with your audience means that you bring them to the next level where they get more value from you. Okay, so they can still get value from you through YouTube, but what you do now is you create a more detailed, like short, really short training. Okay, because this is public. This is not for building trust. What I'm doing now is for my attention. This is for the attention system. But you can use this also for the next level system, which is trust. So a trust is a place where you bring your audience who you already got the attention. Okay, you already got their attention. They already have an awareness. They're interested in you. So you bring them to the next level of trust, which is a higher value offering for them. Everything is still free, but you're giving them something that you're not giving to the public. Okay. So for me, I have my email marketing where I do that. But if you want to use YouTube, because I said focus first on one platform. So this is one platform that I'm using as an example. You can still do that by putting your video on unlisted or private, so that only those who have the link can watch it. So that makes it more special. So the trust is when you make them feel more special, like nobody else has this. I'm subscribed to this person. So everybody who's subscribed to my channel, that's just for attention. And I'm not really using YouTube as my main platform because I have my Instagram and I have my Facebook group. But because I'm using it now, I'm using it as an example of something you can use for attention and trust. Now, when it comes to sales, okay, when it comes to sales, I don't really recommend selling right away on a public platform. Okay. You bring them to a place where you can sell. So this free training is a place where you can sell your online course eventually. So until your online course is done, you can just doing all free training. And when you have made up your mind on when you're going to launch, then you can announce it. You can, like in 6 months, I have this, online course for you, blah, blah, blah. And it gets them excited. Okay. So you build their excitement as well. But a webinar, a live launch, challenge, these are ways you can start selling your online course. But you sell to people who already trust you, or somehow you have already built their trust. Although you can also do it when you're starting to build attention, but for the most part, you do it in a platform where you have already built their trust. In fact, the mere fact that they signed up for your free training, your webinar, whatever, means that you've already gotten their interest and you're probably building trust with them already. So use that as your platform or your system for sales. Okay, so that's for your system. Very simple: attention, trust, sales. So that's the drawer. Those are the drawers. Now let's talk about the strategies. So the strategies are what you put: your plans for attention, your plans for trust, your plans for sales. So when it comes to strategies, it's very simple. Very, very simple. It's your content and it's your frequency. Okay? So those two simple elements should make up your strategies for your ATS system. Okay, for attention. Let's just say use again, example, YouTube videos. Okay. What content are you gonna create? Okay, so your content should be related, of course, to your online course. So let's just use again an example of successful second marriage. So anything related to a failed marriage, of course, you're not going to give away what you have in your online course. So this has to be done strategically. So you're not giving them for free what you're offering as a paid offering. And so when you do that, you plan for your content and then you also plan for your frequency. How often should I do a YouTube video? Okay. Now, I'm not recommending YouTube videos to you. I'm just using this as an example because I'm here on YouTube right now. Okay. And I don't really use YouTube for my system. This is just one of the things that I've established so that I can have greater credibility for those who are already interested in my offer. Okay. So, how often and what content? Okay. I'll use another example just to be, just to give you more options. Let's just say it's Instagram. You chose Instagram. So when you're thinking of strategies, okay, how often should I do Instagram Reels? How often should I do just a regular post? What content should I make? So this is when you start planning for your content. Again, keep it simple. Doesn't have to be complicated. So that's what the strategies are for. So for attention, you have your content and your frequency. For your trust, your content and your frequency. Like I have my email marketing and I do a weekly newsletter. So that's part of my strategy. My content, I have it planned out. I'll share with you a secret. Okay. So this is more like an advanced way of doing it. I'll share with you a secret. My YouTube script. Okay. So when I do my YouTube videos, I have a YouTube script. I have a script. Of course, this one, I have notes, but I don't have a script. But when I do my videos, pre-recorded videos, I have a script and I repurpose that script on my social media platforms. So I use Instagram and Facebook across, well, they are connected. And so everything is planned for. I already have my content ready weeks before that. So I plan my content in advance, like a month in advance. But again, this is a higher level of project management, and I don't want to overwhelm you. I wanted to keep things simple. So choose one channel and one tool, whether you're going to use a podcast. If you want to use a podcast, use your podcast. If you want to use YouTube, use YouTube. And that's why I don't do podcasts because I already have YouTube. Okay, so let's just say that you use Instagram and you're planning to use Reels. how often. So that's for attention. And you're using your post, that's for attention again. And then you want to bring them to a more private place. So Instagram now has subscriptions, um, paid subscription actually, just cheap. I think it's like $4, is it? But it gives you access to more valuable content from whoever you are subscribed to. So that's one thing that Instagram now is offering. It's actually very wise. But let me tell you something, my favorite really is email marketing, because whatever happens to Facebook or Instagram, the email is still going to be there. So I always really recommend the email marketing for building trust. And it doesn't have to be a weekly email, it can be a monthly email, especially when you're just starting. Okay, so that's the strategy for trust is that. And then what about the sales strategy? Sales strategy is, what do you use? Do you want to do a 5-day challenge? Uh, Again, if you choose YouTube, you might as well do it here. If you choose Instagram, do it on Instagram. Or do I want to do a webinar? Maybe I should just do a free training. Okay, so these are the ways to sell your online course in the future when you're selling. You do something live, that you can automate later on. So this one, I can automate this. And so more people can watch it in the future. Okay, so this is planning for your live training where you're going to sell is part of the strategy. And the sales system is the live training, okay, or a webinar. So this is part of my sales system. And this is what I use, my webinars is what I use to sell my online course. So that's already part, and the content and the frequency is already part of my strategy. So I hope I made that pretty clear for you. So this is why it's really important to set this all up and working towards it while you're building your online course. Again, once you set this up, the hard work is the beginning part. But once everything is set up, it's just going to flow more and more seamlessly. Every good thing requires time and hard work. But the nice thing about an online course business is it's easy to start and it's easy to maintain. Any business you want to start will require hard work. If anybody wants something easy and simple, you probably will make money now, but tomorrow it's gone as well, right? We want something sustainable because success for me is sustainability. Okay, now in remember too that in building your strategy, the schedule is very, very important. Okay, so frequency, content, and the scheduling, they're all important. So all of that will form part of the strategy. Okay, so now let's do a recap because it's already way past my 1 hour. I said I'm going to extend a little bit. And so I talked about your audience. So I talked about building the foundation, and then I talked about building the framework, and then we started talking about the components of the framework, your audience, and then how to create your outline, and then proceeding to the content, and then building your systems and explain to you customer goes through, and then building your strategy. Okay, again, I said at the beginning, but if you build it right, you're going to be successful at it. So everything I'm teaching you now, it took me 2 years to learn, but it's all worth it because of you. And what I'm teaching you now, you're only going to learn in 4 weeks. Actually, in 6 weeks, sorry, in 6 weeks, 6 to 12 weeks, because it depends really on how fast you can do it. But what I've learned in 2 years, you'll only learn in 6 to 12 weeks through my course creator roadmap. So I've created an online course because I can't really explain everything to you. A 6-week program, I can do that in an hour. So I've created course creator roadmap. So this is now the roadmap from start to finish, from conceptualizing your online course to launching your online course. So what I gave you today is just the tip of the iceberg. So the course creator roadmap contains every single detail with workshops, exercises, video courses that if you follow exactly the sequencing, you're going to be done in 6 weeks and probably be ready with your online course. Well, actually, you can be done in 6 weeks for your online course because if you're building it while going through the course, you'll be selling in 6 weeks. That's why I gave you 6 to 12 weeks because it really depends on how fast you can do it. But if you follow everything, it's going to be just in 6 weeks. So when you sign up for Course Creator Roadmap, you will receive an email every day for 6 weeks. Okay. Some modules have more lessons than other modules. So let's just say, so most modules have 5 lessons. So you'll receive lesson one, introduction lesson one on day one, and then lesson two on day two, lesson three on day three, lesson four on day five, lesson four on day four, lesson five on day five, and then you take a break. And then the next week again, to complete the 7 days, you'll receive the next module. So that's how it works. So everything is through email, but the email comes with a video course and with downloadable exercises that you can use. So that's what you learn, or that's how the course creator roadmap works. So that's the online course program, or the online course that I've created for teaching students how to start an online course business. How not only how to start, but how to start and build an online course business. And let me just read to you very briefly so you'll be more aware of what Course Creator Roadmap entails or what it includes. So, Module 1 will teach you how to create your own map to success. So, everything from your personal goals to your financial goals to creating your vision mission statement to refining your brand identity, defining or refining your brand identity, defining or refining your target niche, because this is also for those who already have their businesses. And then module two is the creating your online course part one. So in this module, you'll learn how to choose the best type of online course for you. I presented to you one, which is self-help. There are other types of online courses. And then how to choose the best online course name, how to create a clear and concise outline, how to choose your training methodologies, and how to price your online course. Module 3 is about building your brand and audience. Again, I gave you an overview, but in this Course Creator Roadmap, Module 3, you'll learn how to set up your website or your landing page, because you don't really need a website. How to set up and manage your social media pages, the one that you're going to choose, how to create and manage your email list, how to create your call to action or your lead magnets. And because that's what you're going to use to get the email of your audience in exchange for something for free. And then module 5 is pre-selling your online course. Okay. How do you pre-sell your online course? So that's where you learn how to create a targeted offer statement that you can use for your promotions, how to create your social media strategy, how to create your email marketing strategy, how to create your sales strategy. And then module 4 is the part 2 of creating your online course. So this is where you finish it, wrap it up, create your content, learning materials, how to record and edit your videos, how to set up and publish your online course. All these things you learn in Course Creator Roadmap. And then the last module, module 6, is when you learn how to sell your online course. So I'm going to teach you all that, how to set up your sales platform through live launches, training webinars, just like this one, and how to automate your live training for future use, how to create your content for your live training, how to create content for your social media promotions, how to create content for your email marketing. You'll learn all that in the Course Creator Roadmap. And of course, you have bonus modules as well, like how do you promote your online course through YouTube videos, how to manage projects, how to start creating content, batch. Oh my goodness, I lost my train of thought. But how to create content and how to batch it, how to repurpose content. So all those things are gonna be in bonus modules. So there are more bonuses. Like once you sign up, you have lifetime access, which means that you have access to updates that I'm gonna keep doing. You also have access to live monthly Q&A. So it's kind of really like having a coach with you. You can ask questions during the live Q&As. And I can also assist you if you need help in looking for VAs and how to create your brand, all the fancy graphic branding. I can also help you with that. And guess what? It's only for a very minimal investment of $199. You won't find this anywhere else. $199 for this entire course, Course Creator Roadmap with 6 modules that go into the details of creating a successful online course business. It's not just how to create an online course, but how to create an online course business for a one-time payment of only $199. You can't beat that. And the nice thing is, I also have 3 equal monthly payments of $82. Yep. If you don't want the one-time payment of $199, you can make your three equal monthly payments of $82 only. I really made this very affordable for you guys so that you'll be able to start your online course business. Now, if you want more information, and because I'm going to also include that in the video description, but if you want to get more information about that and you want to sign up today, just go to, or even if you just want to check it out, okay, if you want to check it out or if you want to sign up today, just go to lisamaki consulting.com. That's LISAMAKI consulting.com/CCR. Okay. Again, I'm going to put that on the video description after this video. lisamaki consulting.com/CCR. And all the information is there. All right. So thank you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you. And so far, I don't see any comments, but maybe because I just haven't used this platform yet. So this is my first time. So thank you for bearing with me as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you really learned something or that this free training has been very valuable for you. I really hope you sign up for the Course Creator Roadmap. And because you've reached this far in the video, I believe that this is something you're considering. And so, again, I hope to have you there because that's where you really learn all the details of building a successful online course business. Okay. So, thank you, guys and girls, and everybody else watching me live or on replay. Thank you so much. And since I'm doing this on Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, pray about it. But yeah, I would love to have you there. And I promise you, you're going to learn something that you will never learn elsewhere. Definitely. Definitely. So yeah, let me respond to you, Lygia, so you can just go straight to the link. There you go. Okay, so thank you. Thank you so much. And please just share this with other people you know because there's replay. And I hope to see you in the program. Okay. Thank you too. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Okay. Bye. Have a great day. And since I'm doing this, so for those watching me on replay, just know that I did this on the 28th of December 2022. So I'm going to be greeting all of you a happy 2023. All right. Bye.